Genesis 31 is one of the most disturbing and, at the same time, most expressive texts about how God guides his people. For God does not act only in incredible occasions, but also in human interactions, family strife, and even in the most complicated provisions and decisions. The chapter concludes a turbulent period in Jacob's life and begins the return of God's promise. Here each description demonstrates how God cares for, protects, and transforms the life of those who follow him, even in chaotic, difficult, and unstable situations. The chapter begins with Jacob realizing that Laban was no longer treating him as before. His uncle, along with his sons, were being hostile toward Jacob due to his wealth. Jacob was possessing everything necessary to meet his needs, and for this reason he received God's order to return to his land in Canaan. 20 years had passed and Jacob knew it was time to leave. He explained his decision to his wives, saying that the angel of God had told him in a dream that it encouraged him in his intention. The angel identified himself as the one who appeared to Jacob at Bethel, being God himself. Rachel and Leah support their husband's decision, as they had already lost respect and affection for their father. They still had a share in the inheritance, and their father did not consider them as strangers, but he sold them and then used all the money. Jacob prepared everything: his cattle, flocks, wives, children, his men, and all the goods he had acquired to leave. Laban went to shear his flock, and Rachel, taking advantage of this, stole her father's household idols, so that Jacob could claim part of the inheritance. These small idols constituted a title of inheritance. Rachel and Leah had not learned to trust in God to meet their needs, and Jacob had not been able to make his family trust in God with all their hearts. Jacob left without his uncle knowing, crossed the Euphrates River, traveling as fast as possible to Canaan. But his immediate destination was the mountains of Gilead, a region east of the Jordan River. Upon learning of Jacob's escape, Laban set out in pursuit of him, along with his men. And after a few days, his uncle managed to catch up with the group in the mountains of Gilead. But on the way, Laban received a message from God, an order to refrain from doing anything to Jacob. Laban should not say anything. He could not say anything to Jacob by God's order. Laban could not be stopped by a divine visitation, expressing his despair at seeing his daughters and grandchildren leave his house without proper goodbyes. Laban asked why his gods were stolen, being more concerned about them than about Jacob's family. Conducting a search, the small gods were not found, for Rachel had hidden them in the camel's saddle and was sitting on top of them. Jacob felt relieved to be able to contest his uncle Laban. With everything clarified and resolved, they both made a deal. To seal the occasion, they took action to erect a stone pillar on the top of the mountain of Gilead. This place was like a Mizpah, which means the watchtower, from where everything could be seen, seeing the whole land in all directions. And where the stone was raised, Laban called it Jegar-Sedutha, and Jacob called it Galeed, which would be the Mount of Witness, representing that God was being invited to sit there and observe these people and their testimonies. God would be the watcher between Laban and Jacob, in the hope that everything would be smoothed over. Jacob had to promise that he would treat his uncle's daughters with generosity and affection, and neither party could cross the agreed border to commit any type of violence against the other party, and in no way should either harm the other. Jacob gave a feast, inviting everyone, and so they ate and spent the night on the mountain. Then, we see God fulfilling his promise to the generations of Abraham, maintaining his great purpose of multiplying the descendants of his chosen ones. Thus Jacob returns to the land of his fathers. As it is written in Genesis 28 verse 15, "I am with you and will protect you wherever you go. Then I will make you return to this land, for I will never abandon you until I have fulfilled what I promised." We observe the fulfillment of God's promise in Jacob's life. We also see that when things happen differently than people expect, what truly lies in their hearts comes to light. Laban had in his pride that everything he possessed was the fruit of his cunning, and his sons thought that Jacob had taken possession of their father Laban's goods. Despising Jacob, who at that moment realizes that if it weren't for God in his life, he would have and be nothing. For this reason God honored him and was with him. Jacob and Laban make a pact. Laban considers God as just one of the gods to whom he bowed. For Jacob, who had God as the only Lord to whom he gave honor and glory, He made a sacrifice in the end, thus making the difference between the worship of one and the other clear. The chapter reveals to us that the Christian life includes phases of conflicts and difficult decisions. God does not promise the absence of complications and challenges, but ensures His presence. That is constant, and we just need to turn to it. Thus, we need to hear the voice of God before making any decision. God always acts in silence and without us noticing so that His purposes may be fulfilled. And just like God, in our journey there are moments of silence, but also moments of standing firm. Wonderful God! Did you like the content? Leave your like, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more inspirational messages. Thank you for watching this video.